Before we dive in, let me introduce someone very important today.
Hello everyone, my name is Mathiew. The person who's speaking in the background. I am going to ask all the questions you're probably thinking while watching.
Oh yeah, he's that special. He could have hosted the show himself, if he hadn't lost.
A game of rock, paper, scissors. Me and Koda went all in. Hosting rights were on the line. I guess it was just beginner's luck.
Wow. No respect at all for the raw talent standing right here.
We're just joking.
Okay. Back to lesson.
In the first lesson, we started exploring Gradle, got a general overview of all the files, and took a deep dive into the two build.gradle files. Now let's continue.
Today we're diving into two important files, gradle.properties and settings.gradle. First, the gradle.properties file. As we mentioned earlier, this file is like the environment control panel in our factory. It holds global settings that affect how Gradle behaves during the entire build process. Let's walk through this example together.
Should I ask? What is this stuff?
Okay, let's break down each line. First, org.gradle.gemargs equals xmx2048m. This line tells Gradle how much memory it's allowed to use while building the project. Here, xmx2048m means it can use up to 2 GB of RAM memory during the build process.
Think of it this way. This line controls the speed of generating machines in your factory. But their limit is your device RAM. Now you may be thinking, but how much should I give Gradle based on my device? Let me show you. This table shows how much you should give to Gradle. 1 GB if your device has 4 RAM. 2 if it has 8 GB and 4 if it has 16 GB RAM. But don't go overboard. Giving too much memory to Gradle might slow down other apps, or even Android Studio itself.
Line 2. Android.use AndroidX equals true. AndroidX is the modern namespace and structure for Android libraries, created by Google. It replaces the old support libraries with a clearer, more modular system. It makes things easier to manage and is the standard for all current and future Android projects.
Note that Android Studio automatically migrates new projects to Android X. But if you're working on older projects, you may need to enable it manually, and that's what this line does. My_API_key equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. This line is just regular variable definition. If you want to use it, for example in build.gradle and file, just write the next line. This is useful for keeping config clean, especially in big projects.
Org.gradle.parallel equals true. This allows Gradle to run multiple tasks at the same time, if they're independent.
It's like hiring multiple workers in a factory to work in parallel.
Finally, org.gradle.configureOnDemand equals true. Tells Gradle to only configure just needed modules, not all of them.
Like starting only the production lines required for today's orders.
Alright. It's time we talk about another important file in your Android project, settings.gradle.
Yes. Finally. My favorite file. And you'll see why the moment we open it.
Because it's incredibly simple. As we mentioned in the previous episode, this file acts like the main control room of your project. It tells Gradle which modules or subprojects exist. rootproject.name equals myapp. Sets the name of your root project, the one that appears in Android Studio. Include app. This line tells Gradle, hey, this project has a module called app, and it should be included in the build. And that is it. Now that we're done early, there's one last file I can talk about. gradle-wrapper.properties. This file sets the exact version of Gradle your project should use. It usually contains a line like, distribution URL equals https://services.gradle.org/distributions/gradle 7.4.2bin.zip. That tells Gradle, Use version 7.4.2 and download it automatically if it's not already installed. Why is this important? Because if different developers use different Gradle versions, it might cause build errors or unexpected bugs. This file ensures everyone uses the same version, no matter what machine they're on.
Imagine your project is a big factory. Gradle is the main machine that powers the whole thing. Now imagine one developer installs a newer machine, and someone else uses an older one. That would definitely mess up production. But thanks to this file, Android Studio downloads the correct Gradle version for you. So everyone's working with the same machine, no manual setup needed.
Congratulations! Now we go through all Gradle files.
No name. Can you step back a little bit? Director, I want a cinematic shot. And now a little silence. When I started, I didn't take these files seriously. I rushed in, skipped the boring parts, and ended up running in circles. I struggled before because I didn't get these files, and honestly, I never even dedicated enough time to understand it properly. That cost me a lot of errors, wasted time, and frustration. I know I keep saying this is important, and maybe you've heard that too much. But believe me, it is. These files are the silent core of every Android app. Learning them won't give you a shiny app tomorrow. You won't go viral overnight, but just like planting a seed, you'll know you've chosen the right soil. You'll know the roots are strong. So don't stop here. Rewatch. Take notes. Rewind if needed. Don't be discouraged or despair. One day all this effort will bear fruit. Let's just keep going together. That's all we have. If today's episode helped you even a little, then hit like. Leave a comment. Let us know you're learning. Next time, we will level up. And that is why I'm the main host of this show. Not because I won some children's game, but because I've got skill, heart, and vision. You hear me, Mathiew? I'm here
Director,
because
please
in
end
the
the
eyes of a
episode.
programmer,